Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another broadcast. It's Sunday, and as always we are starting off Sunday with the Pro Championship of the Thrustmaster Formula SimRacing 2015 Championship. The ship strands at Kota in America, Austin, Texas, after we left Suzuka 2 weeks ago. And it's a very nice venue to be here. One of the best tracks for most drivers, I would say. Most likely not the best track, but one of the best track. It has got quite a nice flow in the first sector, of course. And today joins me Chris de Jong in the commentary booth. And how are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing fine, actually. Thank you very much. Hope you can say the same about yourself. Do believe we are in Q1 at the moment, with Adrian Falcon topping the charts with a 35.3 and a big gap of half a second in between him and P2 George Winter. Jax Wangler.exe is not yet up to pace, so it seems. But will we see any surprises today, Jeroen? In terms of, maybe outsiders like Sergio Perez getting a podium. Would it be Craig Baxter here fighting for a win? I don't know.
I think we could possibly see some surprises. We have seen in Ace yesterday that there were a few retirements. Obviously, the first corner is quite tight, and then it gets followed up by those sweeping turns where a lot of things can happen.
It's not really that tight. You have multiple lines where you can go in, but it's just a matter of, it's this early, and I already want to say retardation, but it's also leaving each other a little bit of space. It's not as horrible as Monaco or Monza or whatever. And we have seen in the past that also in Monza it was relatively clean. But mistakes are easily made, and turn ones are turn ones. They can be a little bit hectic. Hopefully for these guys they can keep it together a little bit, because we obviously want to see, don't have to see everyone finishing, but at least everyone, crossing the start-finish line after lap 1 safely. That would be a big thing for a lot of guys.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. With 1 more minute to go in this qualifying session, as Chris said before, Adrian Falcon tops the time sheet. Currently in 10th place is Henry Hermsen. We'll be pretty happy with that at the moment, I believe. 136.8 is the cutoff point. Outside the top 10, Zaharov only missing out by about 800th of a second, but all of these guys will get another lap in, so hopefully for them they will improve. Having said that, Zaharov just crossed the line and he did not improve, so Zaharov is definitely not in Q2, but there are some others who could put himself up there.
Well, big gaps in between P1 and P10, 1.6 seconds, 1.7 seconds actually being the gap between Adrian Falcon and P1, Henry Hermsen and P10. So I shouldn't say there's no opportunity for a lot of these guys. I mean, relatively close behind P10, but yeah, basically the usual suspects into the top 5. Who can steal P10 away from Henry? That's the question. Dimitri, like you said, didn't do it. Jonathan Etienne just started the lap. It seems really weird. Thought he was done. Felix van Delft didn't do it. Eugene from Swagenburg is still on track, but I don't think a lot of these guys will improve. Maybe Jonathan Etienne, but for the rest I think we have our top 10.
Yeah, FR didn't really improve in the first sector. In fact, he was down in his own time, so he needs to find something in the second and third sector. And the second sector obviously having this very, very long back straight, which is one of the 2 DRS zones on this track. And Etchier is there right now, opening up the DRS.
Nice to see Baxter improving. Same for Wangler though. Baxter puts himself up to P3, so he is going to be the Sergio Perez for today. I sincerely hope so.
Etchier then, what can he do in the third sector at the moment? Obviously soft compound for him. It's a personal improvement, a green time for RJ in the second sector, which is really nice to see, as we see Riera being parked up alongside the track there. Riera in the end got in P7. RJ though, what can he do? Penultimate corner, turn 19, really important. Don't go too much on the outside curb, it can spin you out. Exactly what happened to Easterbeek, goes a bit wide there. 1 more corner to go for RJ. He's definitely pushing, but he abandons his lap. Felt like lost too much time most likely in that penultimate corner.
Yeah, unfortunate for him though. I mean, was a little bit wide as well. He definitely went a little bit off track there. But it seems we have our top 10. It's consistent of Adrian Falcon, Jax Wengler, Craig Baxter, George Winter, Giordano Valeriano, Samuel Carpenter, Argenis, Ryra, Riera, whatever, Christian Bufumu, David Cook, and Henry Hermsen, who managed to, clamp both his arms around the P10 and well, just on the edge he gets in. Big gaps though in the top 10, like I said previously. A little bit surprising though, but as long as it's a little bit exciting on the front, you don't hear me complain. But yeah, it's going to be something for these other guys to catch up. Basically, the top 3 or top 4 are going to decide it today, I think. I mean, 6/10. It's already a big gap between Falcon and Winter. So let's see how they will manage. I mean, for the same case, they all make mistakes in their Q2 laps, and we have Christian Bufumo on pole position. The wonders didn't yet leave the world, but it's Samuel Carpenter and Giordano Valeriano biting off this Q2 session, or the head of this Q2 session. Baxter follows as well. Would be nice to see a Jeroen Kweekel driving now though. Maybe he could spice things up a little bit.
Maybe. Who is that?
I don't know, some guy who luckily won the last WC race.
Okay.
With tremendous amounts of luck, like completely carried by his team.
Yeah, I think so. Nonetheless, Sam Carpenter.
It was a really nice race from you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's hope we have some similar sort of race today. Was a pretty good race, that's for sure.
You mean with another Ghost Speed winning?
Would be good, but I'm a commentator as well, so as long as there's some kind of action, I'm usually already pretty happy.
Well, Falcon is seemingly happy as well for the pole position. Goes out on track with 4 minutes to spare. You were actually a big hero in last minute dropouts of going out of the pit, same as Mohammed Patel. Like with 10 seconds to go, you could set the clock on the fact that Mohammed Patel would cross the finish line in Q2 for being the last guy to put up a lap time. We are currently for some guys not yet in their first laps. Samuel Carpenter is getting up there.
And we shall see what he can do. Samuel Carpenter then driving for Origin, front row racing the Dre TV car, and he crosses the line right now with the DRS wide open going into the first corner. Very much of a height elevation over there. Obviously, he drops down the track once again on the exit and comes up to this spot. It's somewhat similar to the Silverstone section. Make sure that you nail those curves. It's all left, right, whatever. Double apex over here for the right-hander, then slow the car down for the left-hander, and he went a little bit too deep into there. You really want to have a flowing line through there, but this seems all safe and sound. Rather stable so far for Carpenter as he enters the second sector right now.
Definitely not up for pole position, but who would have expected anything of that? For Samuel, it would already be nice to improve his time and maybe get a top 5 position. If he can put the DRS right open. He has Ryra in front of him. Not the nicest of guys to have in front of you, but let's see if he sees Carpenter. Go out of the way, Ryra. Nice, that's what we want to see from you. Now here he has to keep it together. Twitchy little part of the track where you can actually use multiple lines. He's a little bit slow off his gears. Lacks a little bit of traction in my opinion, but there's no wheels spinning there. Now, last corner of the track, it will be the benchmark for the rest. Big slide there coming out of the last corner, but it puts him at P1. Obviously, but with that 136.553, I have no doubts at all that would be will be beaten. Not by Giordano Valeriano though, who is just 40 thousandths of a second shy. Craig Baxter did do it, however, 36.0 for him.
Yeah, next one to cross the line is Jack Swangler. He is actually going to start the lap. Someone who is on the lap at the moment and will cross the line shortly is, I think, Adrian Falcon. And Adrian has gone purple in both the first and second sector.
Good job, Adrian. Keep it together there. And he chooses the shortest line there. Really nice. Nice on the curve there. If you touch that orange thingy a little bit too much with your bottom end of your car, you're basically gone. Adrian though does not have that issue. He keeps it together and this will be provisional pole position, I am sure. But with a 35.002, almost getting into the 34s here. So really nice lap from Falcon here.
Yes,
who can dive underneath that? Jack Swangler obviously notices that time. Keeps on the curse. But we don't use curse. Well, Wangler does. Shots fired.
I wonder how.
No, but yeah, George Winter looked a little bit sloppy in sector 1 as well. Hopefully for him it didn't cost him too much. Now I think it's Bufumu, and he puts himself onto P3. Reasonable lap for him. David Cook with a 36.0, the steal speed 2 away. But we still have the top names to cross the start-finish line. First up will be Jack Wangler. And after that, George Winter.
And Wangler at the moment about 3 to 4 tenths down on Adrian Falcon. It's all about the final sector of the He runs a little bit wide for the turn 19, nothing too serious though. Never saw the curbs are part of the track. Now straighten up your car, open up the DRS for the very short run to the line. And what is Wangler going to do? He puts himself on to P2 and in the end only 2 tenths down on Falcon. Good final sector from Wangler.
And now George Winter, he crosses the line in P3, 35.749. Like I said, he was a little bit out of shape in sector 1. Nevertheless, he can put his car onto P3. I mean, Henry Harrison still has to cross the start-finish line, but it's not looking bright for him in pole position terms. But let's see, maybe. I mean, he will start P9 at least because Ryra didn't finish his lap. So that's already personal gain. There you go, lad. 36.756. 1.7 seconds slower than pole position. But we have our top 10 and congratulations to Falcon reaching that pole position.
Yeah, just to see that Falcon and Wangler are separated by about 2 tenths, and then it's a relatively big gap to Winter and the rest of the field as well. In the mid-pack though, it's a lot closer than it is at the front, that's for sure.
And Wangler obviously is carrying a little bit of a weight penalty. I think it's 20 or 25 kilos. You would say, why is Wangler carrying 25 kilos extra? That has all to do with the anti-lock braking. He uses anti-lock brake settings on low, and therefore you get a penalty in FSR. I mean, it's not possible to even use that in the higher categories. Only in Pro you are allowed to use anti-lock brakes on low and traction control on low. But I don't think he uses traction control. I mean, it's slower as well. So.
I doubt he uses it. Obviously, as you have explained, you get an additional weight penalty if you use one of those assists, and that is definitely the case for Wangler.
And it should be like this. I mean, I was really happy when they removed anti-lock braking in real Formula 1. It gives a little bit of more input back to the driver, you know, and at the end that's what we want to see. Now I speak for a lot of people, I'm sure, but yeah, I mean, we don't want to talk about engines being called power units and whatever. I mean, we just want to see a little bit of a mechanical side on the sport, and we basically want to see, and I'm quoting Bernie Ecclestone, we want to see gladiators fighting on the track. Fortunately, with online sim racing, we still have that potential. I mean, it's basically all driver input if you have the right setup, and there's no such thing as saving fuel here. Of course, saving tires. I mean, if you treat every race lap as your qualify lap, I'm guaranteeing you're going to pit 6 or 7 times because your tires are going to be squashed. But yeah, nevertheless, I mean, that has always been the case in Formula 1.
Mike Partington, the race director, said that warm-up will be 8 minutes long for this time instead of the usual 10, maybe running a little bit behind schedule. We are not behind schedule though. We remember that we have a fancy Thrustmaster break, commercial break, so I guess we're gonna go through that, but stay tuned, grab some popcorn, and we'll be back soon for the race. So welcome back to the 13th round of the Pro Series here at the Thrustmaster Formula SimRacing Championship. 6 minutes to go in warm-up. Well, make that 4 minutes as it was a 8-minute session instead of the usual 10. From pole today starts Adrian Falcon being followed by Wengler. Chris, do you see that changing in the race? Do we think that Wengler is up for a challenge to Falcon?
Anything can happen, like you know in Monza. I mean, if you have a bad start, then you can get jumped by others. With a little bit of practice and the right launch control settings, you can avoid that. But it will be tricky. I mean, it's technical turn one. You have to really hope that your opponents give you the right amount of space that you need. So. Yeah, let's see. Hopefully everyone will make it out alive. But I do feel, and that's my personal feeling, that in turn one we will see one guy touching the other, and everything's just going from bad to worse.
Right.
I'm just really afraid for these guys. Hopefully they can prove me wrong on that. But if you're a little bit too greedy and you go onto the inside, literally on the apex. And you cannot avoid someone because he took a different line, and someone spins around. We have seen it last year, I believe, in Ace and WC, where someone got spinned around and complete carnage because of that. And yeah, it's for these guys to avoid that basically. But yeah, they know what they're doing. I mean, the season has been long already. After this race, there's only one more race to go, so you should say that these guys have learned enough from races earlier on in the season to avoid these kinds of pile-ups. Do have to state that in the early season it was mostly Ace that had the most starting issues, with people crashing, but yeah, Pro can do some of that as well. I mean, WC for example, we haven't seen any of that, and that's really nice.
Yeah, WC is obviously the top of the iceberg really in FSR, but sometimes Pro is just it's sometimes surprisingly clean.
Yeah.
At times you don't expect it, but when you expect it to be clean, it's sometimes, you know, surprisingly corners. Or
And that's what
whatever.
we've seen in Suzuka as well. We had 3 guys driving without a rear wing there. And at one stage we even saw Michelo Vicentovic just driving on the grass for 30 seconds consistently. I mean, it's these things that make these guys pro, and it's those exact same things that you wouldn't find in WC. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. A lot of laps even for these guys, and hopefully enough enjoyment as well.
Looks
Take
like
a look on the race paces though. Adrian Falcon is relatively close with Jax Wengler. 3:10 separating one another.
And there's another quite gap to Winter. P3 9/10 of a second. Obviously, warm-up doesn't say a lot, but it says something. And that is always nice for commentators as well to know. As Wengler actually, I think, had a little bit of a moment. He indeed had a little bit of a moment. How difficult is it to, stay on the track during the whole stint in this race? I mean, you set your car up obviously a bit for qualifying, a bit for race, but leaning towards to the qualification side and maybe towards the end of your stint when the tires are worn, you are struggling. Maybe especially in that first sector.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the first sector, you have a few height elevations, and sometimes it can catch a car out or a driver out.
But to be honest, Jeroen, was that a little bit of a poke to me? A little bit of a bash there? How hard is it to stay on the track during this stint? Asking Chris de Jong? No, you dirty bastard. No, just joking there. But yeah, personally I find it tremendously hard. But for these guys it should be okay. We are going to the race. The good luck, have fun is coming out from our race director, Mike Partington. Pike Martington, also a nice name. 34 laps long, no issues there with the setup. We have seen Sander Callas basically rage quitting in Suzuka because he put it in 20 or 25 liters more than the rest. It had everything to do with the server not being set up properly for the pro category. Now, however, it is, and I don't see a thingy, by the way. I don't see Callas.
No, Callas is indeed not present today, which is quite a shame to see.
Car. What is this?
Nonetheless though, formation lap has gone underway right now with Adrian Falcon obviously leading the pack down to turn 1 uphill. Pretty much a blind apex there. You see the bollard pretty much first, and that is some kind of marker for the driver, of course, when to turn in and where to turn in. And we said before, Wengler being behind Adrian Falcon at the moment. What would it be nice, though, to see Winter having a really good start? Maybe even jumping up to P1. Maybe imagining a little bit too much, but well, would it be nice to see Winter being up there for P1 and then after that a huge fight?
Well, personally, I'm not that big of a fan of Winter, but difference has to be there. At least he has one commentator cheering for him, but undoubtedly he's a fast, talented driver. You will never hear me say otherwise. But it's a strong field in the top 3. A little bit of chances for the rest of these guys, since you're already champion, and Sander Callas, who isn't present at the moment, is also known to be fast and competitive for the podium positions. Maybe if something goes wrong, we can see other guys create their own opportunities. It's like we said, it's key to get alongside each other in the first corner and not make any sort of contact. Let's hope for these guys they can keep it together.
Let's keep an eye out on David Cook as well, alongside Craig Baxter, of course, starting in 4th and 5th. David Cook having a rather strong qualification. He will be extremely happy with that, I'm sure. Baxter in 5th, he said before the race he hates Tilke, so probably not liking this track much at all. Nice for David Cook being in P4.
I do think Turkey is a really nice track. Sepang, you have to either hate it or love it. But Turkey is one of the best tracks of Tilke in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Fully agree.
I mean, I suppose he didn't get paid for Germany. He's like, okay, I can rape it. It's no problem. You're gonna pay me still? Oh, okay. Nevertheless, the drivers are making their way up to the grid. David Falcon, look at me. Adrian Falcon is already in his place, and David O'Reilly is lining up his car. So Jeroen, take us through it. I mean,
Absolutely.
if something goes wrong, I just get my hands in my hair and start screaming. So here we go.
Here we go indeed. David O'Reilly found his grid slot and we're waiting for those lights to come on, which they are coming on right now. And we're waiting for those lights to go out, which they do so now, and it's Adrian Falcon off the line, which is a reasonably good start. Wengler having a look on the inside, though Adrian Falcon immediately tries to fend him off and breaks rather late going into turn 1. Does he outbrake himself though? Yes he does, but has a nice exit as well.
And there we go, Carpenter got hit, and fortunately it didn't create a massive pileup, but a little bit of carnage in the back. But relatively clean start from the rest of these drivers. Like you said, it was almost Jax Wengler who got into the inside, but a defensive weird line actually from Adrian Falcon kept his lead. So really nice driving from the front drivers. David Cook actually jumped P3 and stole that away from from George Winter. Both average chronic racing drivers looking strong here. Now they have to work a little bit together instead of making life hard for one another.
Back straight up, they go for the first time. Adrian Falcon and Jax Wengler immediately flying off. That's something we did expect. Can Wengler get back at his teammate David Cook though? That's the question. He tries to have a look down the inside. Will he outbreak him? He goes for it and he is down the inside. David Cook gonna have to go around the outside. Cannot do it. Winter back up into P3 after overtaking his teammate then.
And hectic first start, Jonathan Etienne on the outside of Christian Bufumu. That is not going to work, but the outside will become the inside here. And now it's Craig Baxter going a little bit off track. Rejoins it and a little bit of a chaos there. Almost 4 wide into the Tielke turn. I just call that the Tielke turn. And another driver off the track. I believe it was Valeriano. But relatively clean lap. Clean first lap for these guys.
And Adrian Falcon leading it then, 7-10 separating him and Jax Wengler. To pick up the P3 after that very nice overtake from him down the inside. Further back though, it's 2 drivers going side by side.
Bufumu really almost stationary in turn 1. What happened there? So tried to make a dive work there. But unfortunately for him, it didn't work out. Samuel Carpenter left him enough space but closed the door firmly. He's right to do so as well.
The first retirement of the day is a fact. The name Eugen van Swagrenberg.
Aww. And Jonathan Etienne are really close up the back of David Cook, who won't have to defend from DRS, I believe, yet. No, DRS is still closed in lap 2, of course, so Jonathan Etienne has to do it with the toe. Cook is going defensive, but it's not really needed, I believe. Making his life a little bit difficult on track. David Cook is. No, better be a little bit more defensive, because if you leave the door open, you can cry in the post-race checks about dive bombs, but if you leave the gap open, then you know. Jonathan Etienne is alongside David Cook and actually overtook him there. And way too defensive driving from David in my opinion, but at least he kept it on the road. And I don't think it will be long before Craig Baxter will have his move in, because Cook is just lacking a little bit of pace in my opinion. But who am I? I'm Chris de Jong, no pace at all.
And
something happened to Wengler indeed. What? Oh, he spun! He literally spun on the last corner of the track. Then had a little bit of a issue getting off again, and on his way. And it allowed George Winter to make his way through to P2. And starting to look like a lonely race for Adrian Falcon. Already seconds away from P2 George Winter at the moment. And it's not something we haven't seen this season from Jax Wengler. I mean, first few laps are really great and then just cocks up. We have seen it in Singapore as well. Then he almost wins the race and runs out of fuel. I mean, but behind that there's a little bit of a chaos going on. Who is that? It's Ooh, Henry Harrison, who is really offensive here. In front of him is Carpenter and Bufumu. 3 wide on the straight here. All have DRS and literally 3 wide now. Who will wing first and who will brake latest? It's Bufumu who brakes latest, but he won't get the win here. It's Carpenter who is the smartest and keeps his shizzle together. Gets P7 or stays in P7 basically.
A big scrap here for this P7, but it's not over yet. Bufumu once again looking really aggressive. Bufumu has looked aggressive all race long so far at the moment, going really for the inside, looking at it in the inside, but in the end he lost out on the traction of the corner, and it allowed Samuel Carpenter to pull away a little bit to create a bit of a breathing space between himself and Bufumu. But a nice scrap we are seeing here.
Yeah, really nice battles from these guys, with the race still being young, vital. Now it's nice perspective. David Cook now really close to Jonathan Echea. Both are horrible in getting that apex done this time around, but maybe David took Echea a little bit as a reference point, and we have seen it in ACS today as well, with I believe Ragusa and Klopp outbraking at the same time, each other at the same time, that is. But yeah, they are still scrapped up in a fight there, and I believe that Craig Baxter has, you know, the edge on both of them. But, you know, he is close by, but you know, he still has to make a fast work. Maybe here, if he can get a reasonable exit. Well, that was surely reasonable. Let's see about the top speeds. David Cook isn't really hauling Echea in. Isn't getting really threat, isn't getting any threats as well from Craig Baxter on that turn. Wangler now really offensive towards the back of George Winter, but George will have one crucial thing in his advantage, and that is that he can decide the racing line, and as long as he doesn't open the door, or as long as he has the top speed, I'm sure he can stay in front. But yeah, Jax is also a fast driver as well, so definitely time for George Winter to well, maybe stop looking ahead and start looking in his mirrors. It's not seeming that Wangler is gonna let this one go. Ooh, and Hermsen now really wide into turn 1. Valeriano wasn't able to capitalize on that, but must be a sign of, I wouldn't say fatigue, but more like a concentration error there. I'm also really curious to see who it will be on top in terms of tire conservation here, because it is a demanding track, especially the first couple of turns. Henry Harrison is going off track though. Really obnoxious move he made there, and now Valeriano is alongside and he will have the inside here. Henry Harrison has no choice but to let him go. Valeriano will still have DRS, I believe.
Yeah, he may get him back, but as you said, Chris, Valeriano has DRS, but Harrison has the slipstream. And now Valeriano has got the DRS of DS. They are still side by side though, going into turn 12. Can Harrison do anything? Maybe go for a cutback. That's indeed what he is going for. Valeriano going a bit deep into there, but cannot do it, but they were rather close over there.
Yeah. Oh, I hear crash issue.
Oh, and a big crash. Avier lost his rear wing, but Fulmo is in there as well.
Holy shit, guys, keep it together. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. People are not pressing escape. Samuel Carpenter just did it. Wow. And now it's Bufumu going off. Easy with rejoining the track there, mate. You're on the racing line. But holy moly, that was some accident there. Incredible
kind of carnage as well. Just a huge domino effect with people still going without a rear wing as well. It just all came together over there. I think I need to have a look at the
all
replay as well.
When David Cook tried to overtake Echea and they made a little bit of contact there. But on David Cook's defense, he was alongside there. But yeah, godverdamme. Also a racing incident here, but consequences are just massive here, and this is shaking up the pack tremendously.
Yeah, Cook off in the first sector, lost the position to Kanata as well and dropped down to P10. But undoubtedly David Cook has got some kind of damage as well from all of that carnage, and so will a few more people have. I think Craig Baxter in the end was the winner out of that, as he is now in P4.
Well, correct. Baxter was in P5, I believe, but the real winners here are Valeriano and Hermsen.
Yeah.
One lap to go. Oh, first Henry Hermsen is fighting for P5 with Valeriano. Valeriano not defending here alongside and overtakes him, but Valeriano keeps his head cool and stays on the racing line. But what I wanted to say, 1 lap ago, Valeriano fought Henry Hermsen for P9.
Yeah.
It was, and Hermsen was P10. Now they're P5 and P6. So, yeah, really fortunate for them at least.
Yeah, 2 additional retirements then in the name of F and Carpenter. Yeah, I fully agree with you. And Wengler is the first one to pit. Maybe has a bit of tire damage off of that spin, obviously, or half spin, whatever it was. Decides to go into the pit lane first. Only lap 6 of the race, lap 7 even. And goes for the medium tire.
Maybe this will be one of those days where Michele Vicentovic can get a P10 or a top 10 classification. By the way, a few seconds ago, I saw Henry Hermsen almost collecting Valeriano here. Wengler is now on track. He has a smoking engine. If we go on board with Dimitri, we will see that. Well, stop smoking now. Smoking is bad for you though, Wengler. It's definitely not a good sign for you from your engine. So I do expect Wengler to cut across the field now, but what I don't expect is Falcon or Winter reacting to that, to this pit stop. Oh, I get contact again.
Oh, it is Vicentovic.
Vicentovic.
Yep, no front wing for him.
Well, at least he still has a rear wing.
Ooh, that's a remarkable incident, to be honest. Just cut the corner completely.
I'm not laughing out loud, but I'm just like, you see the asphalt there and you see the grass, and he was like, meh, fuck it, I'm going to the grass.
Yeah.
That's a definite cut. I mean, that's a true cut right there. But yeah, unfortunately for Vicentovic, yeah. He does carry a lot of top speed on the straight now, though. That's basically for Vicentovic. Anyway, he will find his way back into the pit, I am sure. Adrian Falcon is having none of it though. He is 8.5 seconds into the lead. Henry Hermsen decides enough is enough with these tires. He is going into the pit with P6. He is coming out in like P10, 11, 12, something like that. No, he will stay P11, I think. Close. Going out. Oh no. He will get caught by Juan Sanchez by a margin. So George Winter now steadily driving into P2, and Wengler, with his pit stop already being made, is still 18 seconds behind him. But it seems to me that Wengler is just on an extra stop strategy if you compare it to Winter and Falcon maybe.
Maybe he is, but remember he also went on the medium tire, so maybe where most people are going to do. Oh, and a big crash I hear from our cameraman, and Sanchez is out. No rear wing for Sanchez.
Let's go on board with him. Goes through the S's and basically loses the car on the exit, collides with the wall and gives it a big hug. And at least he is pressing escape instead of trying to get those 10 points, who hopefully will be gone next year for finishing a race.
And George Winter is in the pit lane from P2. Obviously, what I wanted to say is that Wengler maybe does a double medium stint, while others are doing soft, and then one set of medium. Could be the case, as Winter finds his pit box. We'll see definitely how it develops later in the race. Winter will exit, and now let's have a look where he ends up in relative terms to Jack Wengler. And there he goes, Wengler definitely in front, of course, no surprises there, but is he going to come out in front of Riera as well?
Oh, Riera doesn't see him!
Riera,
you fucking retard, seriously, sorry, but this is... Oh, this is insane. Riera just didn't notice him. He just steered in and was like, oh, is there a car on the left of me? I don't know. And George Winter instantly left.
Yep.
He just didn't notice him there. Riera didn't notice him there. He just steered in like, oh, I don't care. Like, come on. Sorry for my language for some, but you know, sorry not sorry there.
Yeah, this is an incredibly stupid move from Riera, who crashes out George Winter with a really good chance at getting second at least in this race. Riera, does he have any kind of damage? Most likely front wing end plate damage, but the damage is done for Winter, which he caused, of course. Riera nonetheless keeps on driving in 5th place, but
He doesn't have a
what can
front
you
wing,
say?
Riera? Or
No,
does he?
he lost the front wing end plate, but there's not a lot of damage done to his race, but he certainly did do a lot of damage to Winter's race.
Yeah, well, he caused a DNF. George Winter instantly
Exactly.
forfeits with a suspension, broken suspension there. But the reason I just instantly rage, because how can you not see a driver? You know, it was so obvious. Nevertheless, he is allowed to drive. I mean, if I was Mike Parlington, I would instantly ban that guy, but that wouldn't be fair as well. I mean, post-race checks are there, but you know, George Winter is completely frustrated now, getting a podium, you know, basically destroyed by someone's fault. Baxter, however, is into the pit together with Giordano Valeriano. And, yeah, a lot of these guys are not really feeling at home in the top 10, but they haven't made a pit stop yet, like Raira, Zarov and Kanata. Both are driving in P4 and P5 respectively. I mean, must have give those guys must give those guys a little bit of a hype, but yeah, it won't be for long, I assume. Genuinely, what will we see here? A 2-stop, do you think, Jeroen? 3 stops?
I think 2.
2, maybe 3.
Definitely when you look at Adrian, for example. I mean, he's still out on soft tire. You know, why would he pit? He's definitely on for a 2-stop.
Well, he is going to pit right now. 10 laps done with that, so he is going for an obvious 2-stop. But he has the least tire wear as well. I mean, he's in fresh air, and basically can drive his own pace and can already win the race here. I mean, yes, he still has to make his pit stop. He's going into the pit right now, but you know, Jack Swangler pitted in lap 6 at the end of lap 5, I believe. So yeah, if he just keeps it tidy now, it will be all okay. And I'm sure he will.
Medium.
Yeah, he's going to medium, and he's coming out in front of Wangler as well, who's going on to the back straight right now. So nice timing from Falcon here.
And a big battle, I think, for P8. Yep, Valeriano and Hermsen going side by side into the so-called Tilke corner. And Hermsen is off, in fact. Yep, I said it yesterday as well. The outside curb over there can get catch drivers out. Excuse me. Exactly, that is what happened to Hermsen. Yesterday it happened to Easterbeek, and we see the second victim from that curb there.
Unfortunate for Hermsen, though. I mean, of course it's his own mistake. But yeah, he's looking like he has some promising pace here today. Definitely up for a top 10 position of a finish here. Still not over though, but yeah, that spin isn't gonna win him anything. David Cook, however, I believe did he make his pit stop already? Cook? He did not, because he's falling down the order like a stone or something. I don't know. He was fighting for peace. Oh, but we obviously had that incident.
Yeah, that incident. Yeah.
Already forgot it after the Rai incident.
Yeah, and may carry a bit of damage as well with him, but still relatively close. Luckily, between well, around P8-ish. That's really where it's quite close. Also quite close between Zaharov, who's in P4 at the moment, and Andrea Kanata.
Yeah, but what an eventful race it has been already. I mean, part of the frustration I just showed about Raira, I'm still enjoying it. I mean, it's kind of looking like they're gonna save the drivers. At least they're gonna save the best for last. Maybe not in terms of leaders and podium places, but you know, a lot of these guys in the midfield and also in the midfield of the top 10 are really looking close and bound to each other. But the different kinds of strategies also, you know, like prohibits a little bit of the battles going on. I mean, with Wangler going into the pit after lap 5 into lap 6, with Falcon pitting in lap 10, that instantly shows you that, you know, he's just well ahead.
Hermsen quite close to Ventura at the moment. Obviously Hermsen having that incident a couple of laps ago, 1 or 2 laps ago obviously. He needs to try to find a few positions back, of course, if he can. He's rather close to the back of Ventura. Picks up a mouthful of dirty air, that's for sure, but stays relatively close to Ventura. So good driving from Hermsen there. Takes a nice and smart line through there. Rather close to him, and he should position himself nicely to overtake Ventura down the back straight into turn 12.
And he already showed to have a nice top speed, Hermsen, when he didn't have DRS and Valeriano did. And he even got alongside him. Nevertheless, it's like 4 or 5 car lengths here, maybe even more. DRS is flicked open, and he is slowly but steadily going on to him. And, it's just, he is going for the dive, and that's completely legit. Even saves a little bit of room on the outside, and I have to say that Ventura definitely let him live there. He could have closed the door and Henry wouldn't have had any possibility passing, but maybe Ventura was like, okay, you're faster, just go ahead and leave me alone in my stint, you know?
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Which is smart as well. I mean, losing time, you can easily lose 10 seconds fighting someone. I mean, definitely if you have old tires compared to new, and look at Hermsen, he's instantly gone from Ventura. So I'm really curious to see when Dmitry Zarov and Andrea Kanata are going into the pits. Both of them haven't pitted just yet, and they have started the race on the medium compound, the prime compound tire for this weekend. So they can still go onto softs and soft again.
And look at Baxter. A battle for P5 here behind Andrea Kanata. Kanata may pick up DRS from Zarov, but Greg Baxter is already so close to him.
Baxter the only guy with DRS here. Kanata is not defending on all tires here. Posted Baxter is just that little bit quicker, and easy peasy for a guy like Baxter. Just has to keep it together, and he gets plenty of room for Kanata, who has his pit light on, so we can expect him into the pit. And after 13 laps, that is a nice achievement indeed. Or 12 completed laps. And I hear the crash. Do you hear the crash? Oh, there's a cone in the middle of the track. Found Racconi here.
Alright, yeah. The cone at turn 12 has been knocked over. It's not exactly on
by
the
Henry
racing line.
Hermsen. Well, nevertheless, hopefully he didn't sustain any damage, but you know. So Kanata is into the pits right now, and Dmitry Zarov still has to think about it. I mean, he's getting heavily under pressure by Craig Baxter, who's just so much faster. Not really a surprise when you consider the fact that Zarov is still driving with his first set of tires, and Baxter obviously pitted in lap 9. So here we go. Baxter will have no problem at all securing this spot, I'm sure. It's all straight line speed here. Doesn't matter if you have new or fresh rubber, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is the DRS here, which will come into play. He is still going a little bit defensive, but allows Baxter to go into the inside. Baxter can obviously brake later here, but will he do it as well? He sure will. Takes P4 from Zarov. And if this isn't the wake-up call for Zarov to go into the pit, I don't know. Because at the moment he's driving, well, his last lap was a 41.2 and this will be a 42, I believe. And if you compare that to even the guy in front of him, Baxter, he's doing 39.8. So he's effectively losing 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap. Well, if you do that 5 or 6 laps long, then you know you're gonna lose 12 or 16 seconds without a sweat.
Riera is still out as well in that third spot.
Yeah,
That's the next target for Baxter, of course.
Crap that guy, seriously. Zarov is doing a 41.7 now. Maybe he wants to do a one-stop. I mean, would definitely take my hat off for that, but a little bit unrealistic there. But I'm really starting to think it. I mean, if he's doing 4 more laps.
He is on the soft tire, isn't he, at the moment? Or is he medium? Oh no, he's medium, okay.
He is on the medium.
And then he
indeed.
needs
So
to do quite a few more laps.
yeah, he's struggling so hard, but I do hope he can get it through. Only 3 or 4 laps to go for him to open up that window for a one stop. Now it's Baxter onto Ryra. Careful, Baxter. This guy
It's a ticking
is
time
just
bomb.
a lunatic on track. Like in the
There you
British
go.
Grand Prix in 2004. We have a lunatic on the track. But here he goes, Craig Baxter on the inside of Ryra, who isn't defending any bit. Hopefully he has seen him already. You know? And
Yep.
yeah, okay, good. Good driving from the both of them. Ryra basically lets him go. So good stuff here from Baxter. Going up for that podium place, obviously after the disappearance of George Winter, who miraculously disappeared into nowhere. Sent into the void. However, I'm just gonna stop blathering on about that. Let's focus on the race indeed. Wengler now 9.8 seconds behind Falcon, but you have to keep in mind that Falcon has tires that are 5 laps younger and fresher than Wengler, his tires, so definitely can't expect a one stop from Wengler. But I do have to say, I do think that Zarov is going for it. Why would you do 15 laps on tires then? You're gonna pit for 6 laps then? The last 6 laps? I don't think so.
Now Riera is obviously out as well on his first stint, so Sarov in the end here catching up to Riera, and they both are most likely then on the one stop. You would say that Riera is, I mean, for sure, he has been still going on the soft tire and now has to do the medium. But, these guys are so slow at the moment, and Valeriano is catching them as well so much that this is now a three-way battle for
Ooh, look at this!
4th place.
Sorry, look at this. Dmitry Hazarov almost kissing the back of Riera. And I don't think Hazarov wants to do the overtake, but neither does Riera in terms of defending. Hazarov alongside here and passing the Riera driver, whatever. Valeriano is knocking onto the door of both of them, and look at that. Compared to Valeriano, they're just stationary basically, and Valeriano really has to be careful to not get catched out by that, as we have seen Ragusa here crashing yesterday, or basically spinning, losing the control of his car. And here he goes, Valeriano onto Ryra. Expect Ryra to brake early, Valeriano. Oh, and Ryra's going to the pit without his pit light on, so his pit stop will take a little bit longer. But who cares if you're Ryra, right? So, Dmitry Zarov being still in P4 with his pit light on now as well, so he effectively is fighting Ryra. So let's see how long he's stationary. Nice 4 seconds there. So really curious to see where these different kinds of strategies will land at the end of the race. I sincerely think that Zarov is going to try to finish the race after this lap. He is halfway, and if you can do on a relatively full fuel tank for these guys, 120 liters, if you can do 15 laps or 17 laps actually onto medium compound tires, you can maybe get another 17 in with half a fuel tank still remaining. But it's keeping it together as well. I mean, if he burns his tires and if he spins, then yeah, sure, he won't make it. But he has to just keep it together, and then you have to drive concentrated, and you can't really get into a lot of battles, and it's seemingly that he knows that.
Not a lot of battling going on so far.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Well, Zarov comes into the pit lane at the moment. Had his pit light on. He's halfway through the race.
Crashes. Where are the crashes? Definitely heard contact there. Did you?
No, I can't see anyone being stationary either.
Oh, Zarov stayed
Yeah.
on mediums, we get the confirmation.
Good spot. And he comes out, here comes Riera. Oh no, not a similar situation here with Riera. Ooh, Riera going really deep into turn 1 this time. No kind of incident there. And
Oh, it's the
good
cone, by
spot.
the way, in turn 1 being knocked out.
Oh,
That was the crashing sound.
what a good spot by our cameraman Sam Jones. Sarov again on the medium tire, so he's definitely up for a 2-stop then. As you
Yeah,
need to use
or he
both,
doesn't know
compounds.
this. Or he doesn't know.
Hmm.
Why would you do 17 laps? 50% of
Right.
the race distance.
Right, yeah.
He did on those mediums. Maybe he's like sitting in the car. He's like, oh shit, I forgot, you know. But well, let's see how that will end up. However, Raira is behind him now. What are you going to do? Well, Zadarov is not going to defend Raira on the outside or basically inside line, and already passes the young Zadarov before the corner. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see. I really don't get why Zadarov isn't on the medium or on the soft compounds, but maybe he doesn't understand it himself as well.
It's a bit like, you know, let's do a 2-stop but do 17 laps on the medium, you know, it
Yeah,
doesn't really make a lot of sense, of course. And a bit of a battle between Riley and Raikkonen at the moment.
Kimi
It's all
Raikkonen.
for P11 of course, but it's the only battle going on out on track so far. The gap between Falcon and Wengler the whole time basically around the 10-second mark, and not a lot of things are changing over there, and Wengler obviously still out on the medium
Baxter!
tire.
It's Baxter, what happened to him? It's that freaking cone on the track. If we can go on board with him in the replay. He basically drives...
Lol.
Yeah,
The
what
cone
the hell?
in the middle, what?
There's an invisible bump, it seems.
It's a cone. The cone is from turn 11 is lying on the racing line, at least for me. And Baxter going over that.
Holy shit.
Is it still on the track? Let's have a look. Henry going through turn 11 right now. No, it's gone. Okay, so the cone is gone, but it was lying right in the middle of the racing line. Good spot from Chris there. Wow.
Yeah, but really unfortunate for Baxter though. Instantly lost the second there, and maybe didn't even see what happened. Can really catch you out as a driver in terms of concentration. You know what catches me out when I'm driving in real life?
Say it.
Women. I mean, especially in the summer. No, you see a woman in like almost no clothes, and you're like, gotta watch the road, but I can't. It's like I'm a complete Homer Simpson in that aspect.
Oh, and
Not a
Zarov comes
pervert.
in again. Here we go. Zarov
there he
is
is.
in again.
Jesus, gast. I mean, he's going in to the pit again, obviously realizing his mistake. But then the question is, why wouldn't you do 2 or 3 more qualified laps on those set of tires? Just wreck them completely, and then
Yep.
you know, finish the race on the new one. Now he pitted 2 times in 3 laps. Well, at least Pirelli is happy. You know, just to have to pay for the tires. But this is a little bit stupidity. We can't expect WC behavior in Pro as well. And let's just say that this is definitely a learning moment for Dimitri Zadarov.
That's what Pro is made for, you know. I mean, it's just trying to learn in a bit of a lower division and get yourself ready
Indeed.
for the higher ones.
And then you can get away with that. I mean, if you're
Exactly.
steering into turn 1 and you don't see the driver next to you, I mean, that can happen. You know?
Yep.
I'm joking.
Can really happen, Chris.
Yeah. Raira should get banned though.
Yeah, it's
Nevertheless, Wengler indeed is into the pit, goes on to a fresh set of soft tires, and I do think he is going to finish the race with this. I mean, 14 laps to go. He did 14 laps on the medium compound, so he has to do 14 laps with the soft compound tire. Shouldn't be a problem for Jax. Or Jacques Wengler, no?
I think isn't he German? I think he is German.
I think he's French.
Nah.
Both are horrible though. Oh no, joking there, joking everyone at home.
Don't get mad at
Just
Chris,
bashing a
please.
little bit there. I mean, we Dutch people aren't really perfect as well, right, Jeroen? Jeroen
Nah.
has a needle in his arm every Saturday. I like tulips. Rob van Starkenburg actually got addicted to tulips. He makes a living out of flowers now.
Don't you like turtles as well? I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, but turtles aren't really Dutch, are they?
No, they definitely aren't, no.
So, no, but Velcon now trying to lap some guys, not the least. I mean, David Cook, 1 minute 35 behind the race leader here. Really unfortunate for him after that crash that happened in lap 6, 7, 8, whatever. Because he looked so sharp for maybe a top 5 spot.
Definitely. Yeah,
But,
they were really strong qualifying, of course,
yeah.
but...
Yeah, but it was that mistake with him, with Jonathan Etier, it was. You know, really not a big of a mistake like Ryra did, but a little bit of over-optimisticness there, which isn't even a word, but you know, sue me. But yeah, that sometimes unfortunately happens. You get caught up in a crash. But this was really, like you said, Jeroen, a domino effect crash, and a lot of people involved in that. But yeah, that's also racing. Valeriano is going into the pit for one more time. At least that's what I hope for him. And Zarov, without that extra pit stop, would have been around. Well, yeah, Ryra basically, and both are not going into the pits again. Yeah. Definitely a good classification thrown out of the window of Zarov. So the lap drivers now are Michelo Vicentovic, Pascal Chapon, Felix van Delft, who got caught up in that horrible crash we just talked about earlier on. Had to make a forced pit stop, I believe, and is driving with a damaged car, to say the least. David O'Reilly in P13, just mentioned him. But those guys are lapped. No fuel saving for them though, yeah. But it's sad for some. And I'm sure some are happy as well that that crash happened. Bufumu, Kanata, Valeriano are all into the top 8. Velcon now showing off his lead here, 27 seconds in front of the Wengler. Have to say though, Velcon still has to make a pit stop and has to survive the lapped cars here. Is approaching David Cook here. There's always a little bit of nervousness there amongst these drivers. Why shouldn't you? I mean, you're in P1. You don't want to get crashed out of the race by a backmark like that. Kanada is going into the pit, so is Bufumu for one more time. Now they're going back onto the soft compound tires, obviously. Same for Bufumu. And Valeriano is allowed through into P5 because of that. He finds himself now behind the lap Vicentovic. Hopefully Michelo knows that he's there. Oh no! Fuck! Giordano, Valeriano and Vicentovic make contact. And now Valeriano is completely gone. Also behind the backmarker. I'm losing my words again. Seriously, things have to change for this last round. I don't know if you're still here, Jeroen, if you saw what happened.
Yeah,
basically,
I saw it.
Valeriano just stayed on the racing line and Vicentovic just braked in the middle of the corner. Not literally braking, but you know, not touching your throttle pedal. He just slowed down there. He didn't really.
Yeah, right on the apex as well there, of course.
Indeed,
on the racing line.
Indeed, he didn't make way. He just stayed on the racing line and he let his throttle go. Seriously, Vicentovic, you should be banned as well. Best friends with Ryra, obviously. But Valeriano now fighting for a top 5 position, and because of a mistake here, instantly has to go into the pit. Instantly demolishes his car here, all because of a backmarker who should be driving on public servers and be a hero there. And that's my outspoken opinion. I mean, blame me. You know, these things we don't encourage in FSR. These things are not supposed to happen, and yet still they do. And we have to take serious action here. I mean, Vicentovic in Suzuka did some retarded moves as well, and now he's just, you know, showing off the same.
Oh, and Bufumo going for a dive on the inside of Andrea Kanata as well. Bufumo is not done yet either, I'm going to tell you. Bufumo has looked rather aggressive all race long, and I wouldn't be surprised if he throws it up the inside of Kanata, at least somewhere. He did it this lap as well into turn 1, gets really close to the back of Kanata, but coming back to that incident, Chris, I mean, you've got to punish this kind of behavior, because if you don't do it, it's just gonna keep happening and happening.
Yeah, exactly, and that's my point, and that's why I'm so furious as well. And I'm sure the drivers that are involved in the incidents that we have seen today, they cannot say that it wasn't their mistake, you know? I mean, you have to critically look to yourself like, oh fuck, there's something again. Did it do?
Champon in a little moment. Oh, it's P8, it's Zaharov. I think it, yep, Zaharov.
Oh, he just lost the car.
Oh, lost it,
yeah. Oh wow. He tried to spin it around, and by doing that he lost his rear wing. Drives on a little bit more, but then realizes the damage is just too much. Then gives the wall another kiss and decides to call it quits. But unfortunate for him, he looked so promising in terms of race pace, but it was that stupid pit stop that went horribly wrong for him, on his own wrongdoing, have to say that as well. But he definitely looked sharp for maybe a top 5, top 6 spot as well. Yeah, same with Valeriano, but then he met Vicentovic and all hell just broke loose. Giordano Valeriano fighting here with David O'Reilly. David O'Reilly. Oh no, that's a legit battle indeed. Yeah, Valeriano must be so furious.
Ooh, and here we go, Bufumo and Kanata side by side. In fact, Bufumo got past, sorry to cut you off.
Ooh, leave each other room, guys.
Yep.
But that's nice fighting there. I mean, on the limit,
yeah.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah, Bufumo definitely went for the inside air brake rather late, but Kanata luckily left room on the inside there, didn't turn into him. So that's a clean pass for Bufumo, up to P5 for him. Falcon finding another few back markers, lapping David O'Reilly at the moment, no issues there. Falcon having a 5.6 second gap lead to Jacques Wengler, who is also going to lap Felix van Delft, who has had a rather quiet race today. And Wengler going nicely on the inside of turn 1, even overshoots the corner a little bit, nothing too much though.
A little bit indeed, a little bit much. But it's all okay. It seems likely that Craig Baxter will complete the podium here. That's gonna be one proud Scotsman, Scottishman, whatever you pronounce it, onto the podium right there. And basically, he was one of the few drivers, or he is at the moment, because we still have 9 laps to go, 8.5. One of the drivers today that has driven basically flawless, definitely into the zone. Same like Adrian Falcon. He's just, you know, after 25 laps, he's just 40 seconds slower. But you know, you can work on that. You know, things that you can teach is talent and insight into certain situations. So Henry Hermsen, I think he will be happy with P7 as well. There's not really much more than that on the horizon. Having said that, maybe if someone needs to pit yet, but Bufumo doesn't, and I believe Kanata won't pit anymore as well. No, he won't. So as we are settling down for the ending stage of this race, I wouldn't say the race is completely locked, but you know, it's spread out. Everyone has found their own spot, and let's see if we can get some surprises still.
Yeah, there's a bit of a battle for P9 at the moment between Raikkonen and David Cook. Raikkonen, in fact, did a Wengler in the last corner and lost it, almost losing the place to Cook as well, but he could recover it just in time. This is maybe a battle which could heat up a little bit as the race unfolds a little bit further into the closing stages. But yeah, we'll see. David Cook obviously will get DRS this lap. Nice line from David Cook, swinging it into the corner over there. We'll get a better exit as well. Look at that. Fantastic driving from David Cook. We'll open up the DRS over here.
Look at the steering wheel though from Cook. He had some suspension damage.
Oh yeah, good point.
Nevertheless, he
Just pointing to
finds
the left.
himself in front of him. And a little bit over-optimistic there, but he gets the move done from Raikkonen, who, well, is basically trying a little bit on the inside, forces Cook out. Now they have to let each other live, which they don't. That was almost a similar accident like Cook caused earlier. You know, I mean, that's just not possible, guys. That is just not possible.
Well, Raikkonen lost it as well.
Yeah, he might have sustained some damage in that as well. That sideways impact is never good for the suspension. And look at that twitchiness. He's going to the pits, but I don't think it will be solved there. He's almost not making the pits, overshooting his entry there. Almost getting collected into the wall. But I think he sustained some suspension damage as well. A lot of contact here.
In the meantime, Adrian Falcon still leading, of course, coming up to David Cook as another back marker. Basically, up until David Cook, who is going to get lapped soon, Adrian Falcon has lapped everyone up to P9 really. And
that's amazing, and I think he will catch up to Henry Harrison as well.
Yeah,
and obviously Ventura.
That
might be problematic though. That might be problematic, Meg. Imagine Adrian Falcon just driving right behind Ventura now. I mean, obviously.
Sorry, but do you remember Ben Eastman in Germany last year with Adrian Falcon as well?
Oh yeah, he literally crashed him in the lead of the race or something.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, well, we have seen that today as well with Valeriano.
Yeah.
But he should have won. I mean, in Austria, Valeriano did the exact same thing there, so now he knows how it feels. Doesn't mean that I'm happy for Valeriano. I mean, these things shouldn't be happening, you know. But yeah, still they do in the pro category. I mean, it's the thing, like some issues that we have seen today with all the names. I'm not gonna say them again. But we know of who we're talking about. You would never see those things in WC. It was already a big surprise for me to see Carlos Martin going rogue on John-Eric Saxon, and obviously that was his own mistake. But you know, that's already a little bit of a big surprise there to see accidents like that in WC. But what we have seen here today from Pro, you know, if we see that in WC, I mean, it's, never in your life.
Andrea Ventura trying to overtake Henry Hermsen over here. Henry Hermsen goes rather defensive for the inside of turn 12. Andrea Ventura is going to have to do it. Round the outside, tries to do it. Hermsen very late on the brakes, so Ventura goes for the cutback as a better exit. And Hermsen losing it on the traction zone there. Ventura again trying to go for the cutback. Can he do it though? This is so tricky. Don't get collide together over there. We've seen it multiple times this race. Luckily, these guys leave each other just enough room.
Yes, indeed they did. And Falcon now is slowing down a little bit, it seems. Really catching up as fast as he used to, but he has 6 laps to go, 9.6 seconds of a lead. So that's basically 1.5 seconds Wengler has to gain, which Falcon knows he won't do. So it's going to be a fair and square race for him, and splash and dash to the finish. But not so for the rest of the pack. David Cook is still fighting severely with Giordano Valeriano. And I do think that Valeriano has more speed than David Cook, who already has a crooked suspension. Looking at his steering wheel angle, it's like driving an Indy car on the straights, you know.
Webber Fummel on Riera. Oh, they go rather close there. But Fummel once again going for a complete dive bomb. And Riera just about leaving enough space on the apex there, but that was once again rather close. I thought they would collide, but luckily they kept it clean.
Indeed, and Riera now good defending from him through this messed up sector, going into the right hand Tilke bend. And let's see if both of them can keep it together. It does seem that Buffuma has way more speed. Obviously, Riera with his one stop. Riera going defensive here. And Buffuma on the outside, Riera just has to let him go.
Now here goes Ryra. One, Leroy Jenkins. Here he goes. Or like a Sparta moment. This is Ryra. Bam. No, I'm a little bit exaggerating. They let each other live as well. A nice fighting spirit from Ryra to see him at least try to make it work again. But he is doing a one-stop. That's already remarkable. And Bufumu is just having fresher tires here. Andrea Ventura now on the back of Henry Hermsen. This is really too close for comfort. Hermsen is not really defending. Ventura already alongside into turn 1. And ooh, Hermsen, you have to leave enough space for Ventura. That was a little bit cheeky there. And ooh, also close racing. But at the moment it seems like Ventura is the one who escapes with P7. Nice fighting from the two there, right on the limit. Andrea Kanata, he is actually catching up towards Bufumu and Ryra. Not really surprised with Ryra, having said already 3 times that he's on a one-stop strategy. So his tires are already 14 till 13 laps old, and they still need to last 3.5. So yeah, or 4.5 actually for these drivers. They're more than a minute behind the leaders, or the leader of the race. And I do think that people are going to check for cuts after this race, because that second last corner, you know, where you said about the
Hermsen and Ventura. Sorry, Chris, but they are going side by side with Ventura going off track. Hermsen takes that position at the moment, and so this is still not over.
Ooh, better once again, Ventura is really close. Yep. On the inside. Loses a little bit in the middle of the corner. Seemingly that the tires have had the best of their life as well. Obviously they're getting a pounding at the moment. I mean, seeing P7 this close in front of you with 4 laps to go, you have to, you know, try everything, and Ventura isn't the type of guy that throws in the towel into the ring, and I like that, to be honest. Here, he carries so much more momentum into turn 1. I think on raw speed he can get Hermsen, but Hermsen just outsmarted him a lap earlier. Still not a lot of time remaining in this race for Ventura to make up for that. Ooh, and Kanata now. We're gonna have a fight on our hands. Bufumu is relatively clean out of sight from Ryra, but Ryra is feeling the pressure here from Kanata. And I can guarantee you we're gonna see some action here. Kanata already trying to get a move done into the inside, but there wasn't any room. A little bit too over-optimistic from him. Now he has to stay out of the dirty air, but it's relatively impossible in this sector of the track. So he just has to line himself up, maybe for the DRS on the main straight, maybe for the second DRS zone. But basically, you know, this is the second DRS zone, and you know, the straight in sector 2 is the first one. Nevertheless, 3 laps remaining for these guys, for Kanata Ryra, and Kanata is just showing off his speed here. So much faster, so much more control, and this is the tire life difference between them. So Baxter now really clear for a podium here. Adrian Falcon without any cock-ups is gonna win this race. Jack Wengler will put his autograph under the P2, and I do think that the podium will be happy. I also think that Jack Wengler didn't really contest for the win today as well. Obviously had that spin early in the race, which messed up his tires obviously. Can't really feel sorry for that, for driver mistakes like that. I can, however, feel tremendously sorry for George Winter. I might not be a fan of him, but I still, you know, am neutral on that aspect. And George Winter, his podium chances just got ended, and prematurely as well. Nothing he can do. Ooh, and Kanata really spinning around here, trying everything he can. It seems like his tires have had the best time of their lives behind them as well. And only 6 drivers, Jeroen, on the same lap, on the lead lap of the race.
Yeah, definitely. That says something. Also, what says something is the gap between Adrian and Craig Baxter, of course. I mean, it's 50 seconds after 32 laps over here. I mean, yes, we know everything which happened, but even without all the incidents and whatnot, Falcon and Wengler are pretty much on the league of their own during this race.
So we are approaching the... Oh, who was that? It was Hampson and Ventura. Ventura is now in front. But what happened there? Are we on board with Ventura? At least I am. Oh, Hampson just spun. Like a complete Ragusa there. And also collecting Ventura there. But yeah, to be honest, that can happen. Henry Hampson, you know, he just spun. And Ventura wasn't able to avoid him. So, you know, that can happen, and unfortunately for Hampson, his mistake cost him P7 at the moment, and hopefully for Ventura he can keep on holding on to P7. Would be a really good result for him if you look at his season score.
And look at Kanata over here on the back of Riera. This is the closest Kanata has been all race long pretty much. Tries to go around the outside, Riera breaks late, bit of a wiggly moment for Kanata, and Riera in fact with a nice defending move over there. Or stays in that position, P5. But these guys are really going for it. Once again, Kanata really wiggly on the exit. You can see that both are just pushing and really eager to take this one home.
And Kanata, his tires are how many laps old? Like 12. So he is on old tires as well. This is so frustrating to see for these drivers. They are fighting every inch of the way. Frustrating, but really, really amusing in my opinion. One lap still to go. The podium is definitely decided, but Raira has to fight every inch of the way, or defend basically every inch of the way to keep that P5. Kanata is just knocking onto the door, and this last DRS
Falcon comes round the final corner to take the victory,
already?
by the way. It's indeed the final lap already, in my opinion. Indeed, it is. And Adrian Falcon takes then the victory for the 13th round. A brilliant drive from him, but it is not over yet. Definitely not for P5, as Wengler also crosses the line and all of those guys. But what can Kanata still do for that 5th position?
Well, definitely a lot. Here he goes. He has to nail this corner right here and hopefully get a good exit. Yeah, that's exactly what he was looking for. Loses a little bit on the exit, but now he can gain with the DRS. Can he do it here? Do or die for both of them. Raira is going defensive. Kanata is just too far away. He is just too far away. Ooh, tries to cut the corner. A cheeky Kanata there. But still forces Raira defensive. Go defensive here.
Look at this.
Yeah. Oh,
here he goes on the inside. No, Riera goes for the inside there, defends it. No, Kanata is just so close. Way wiggly once
passing
again.
the finish time for a brilliant podium. Good job for you, Craig. Or Paul the Resta, as I like to call him. But yeah, Kanata here can just not do it here. Maybe a last dive onto the last corner. Do it, dude! Kara deserves a DNF. No, he won't do it. So brilliant driving from the two of them in the end. Bufumu on P4, Raira P5, and Kanata takes home P6. What an eventful race it has been.
I think that's
what
the right
race.
That's the right description, definitely. Falcon winning it, no surprises there, with Wengler second, Baxter in third. Obviously, congrats to all of these guys, but oh man, what an eventful race, and lots of things once again happening here in Pro. Lots of highlights, but also lots of eyebrow raising,
Can people actually
happening.
get a time penalty for a crash?
Sorry, say again?
Can people actually, or can drivers receive a time penalty for the crash?
I think in some situations they can, I think.
Oh,
Maybe we need to ask the chat a little bit, I'll keep an eye out on that, but I think it is a possibility, but usually at our back of the grids or whatever.
But what a win, and what a dominating win it has been from Falcon. Also nice consistent driving from Wengler. Unfortunately, did make a spin.
And Craig Baxter actually saying, Bufumu, you realize that dive bombing isn't the way to overtake. But we saw so many drivers here today, obviously, with so much carnage. And maybe it's sometimes down to the racecraft as well from some of these drivers in Pro.
Yeah.
They have to work on it. And the thing is, racecraft. It's not like you either have it or you don't have it. It's something you develop over time. You become experienced with it when you race with another driver. But for some people,
in some
there
aspects,
is. For
sorry
some,
to undercut you, but in
yeah.
some aspects, you
either have the insight or you don't. And
That's true.
sorry to bash him all the time, but if he didn't make that move, I wouldn't do that, obviously. But if you don't see a driver on the track, and this is sim racing, we can adjust our seat like basically with a high chair, with a bar chair on our ass, and you still don't see him, and you cause a DNF of that proportion. It's not like he joined FSR 1 week ago, right?
True.
Some incidents are just so avoidable, and it's just a pure matter of insight. But yeah. But what an eventful race it has been indeed, and it's only the warm-up show. I don't think we will see more carnage on the track in WC, and we don't expect to see that. We expect to see the top drivers that rFactor 2 and online sim racing has to offer, and we're obviously gonna enjoy that show in like 1 hour, 1.5 hours time. So I would be happy, and we would all be happy to see you guys again in 1 hour's time for the main event this weekend, the WC. And for now, thanks for watching. Thanks for the camera, Sam Jones. Thanks for commentating, Jeroen, and myself, of course. And see you in an hour's time.
Thank you.